Hello and welcome to your messages for the month of April, April 2023. Okay, so welcome back, or welcome if you're new to my channel. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Deborah Jane Sutton, and you can find out more about me and the things that I do on my website at deborahjanesutton.com, on Facebook, Deborah Jane Sutton, or from this YouTube channel. So have a good browse around, as I usually say. Yes, and check it out, the channel, because there's a whole section on lessons in awakening and a whole section on self-healing. Okay, it's all about healing ourselves on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level. Okay, so check out all of that. I also have a section on self-mastery with Liz Nagle, who is my good friend and mentor. So check that out as well for some words of wisdom. And the cards have come out quite quickly. I'm really pleased about that. Yep, it sounds, yep, definitely. Oh, there might be a clarifier there. Let's just stick that one over there for now and see what happens. Okay, let's dive in. April 2023. Everything is so transformational, so transformational. So we know that this is, as in the words of the council, channeled by Sara Landon, 2020 to 2030 is the decade of the master. And then at the beginning of this year, this was the year of the master. And then March was the month of the master. So it is kind of like, and the astrology is all pointing to that as well. So it's really exciting times. Lots of revelations. So if you haven't read the book of Revelations in the Bible, you don't have to read the book, but research it a little bit. If you go to YouTube, you'll find all sorts of videos about all sorts of things. But it is very interesting that everything is happening now. And what I'm loving about the Great Awakening is it doesn't matter what areas of life you're interested in, or what areas of life you express yourself in. There's something happening in your area of life that's going to be waking you up, whether it be music and the music scene, it could be health and healing and the medical scene. It could be politics that you're interested in and the political scene. It could be sports and what's happening in the sporting arena. Whatever you're interested in, it could be the economy, what's happening in the economy. It could be media, what's happening in the media. It doesn't matter what area. It could be the Bible. You know, you could be reading the Bible and following the Bible, and finding quotes in the Bible that's relating to this Great Awakening. So whichever angle you're coming in at it, there's a Great Awakening going on, isn't there? And yeah, and science as well. I should throw science into there as well. So whatever is your thing, what I'm seeing is people are getting there. People are getting to some form of awakening through whatever it is that they do and whatever interests they have. And astrology, of course. I see astrology now, connected to tarot, of course, as some kind of umbrella over the whole lot. Okay, let's dive in. Otherwise, I just talk for ages. Okay, here we've got the Knight of Pentacles. What I want to say straight away about the Knight of Pentacles, because we've been talking already, or I've been talking already, about the Great Awakening and how we're getting there. And 2020 to 2030 is kind of the decade of the master, as the council says, from Sara Landon. We're in 2023, right? So that makes sense to me, because I often say about the knights of the knights in general is that they're not the 1 to 10s, so they are established on their path. They're established on their path. They're all on horses, and horses are a sign in tarot of moving in the right direction. Excuse me. But they're not a queen or a king. So I see them as secure on their path, well, especially this one, because he's Pentacles. So let's talk about him, because he's the one that's come up. Pentacles is heavy, it's earth energy. So he is moving slowly. He's a little bit a sign of slow and steady wins the race, or something like this. Yes, that's a good example, actually, because it doesn't mean he's going slower than others. Perhaps the other ones are going so fast that they hit brick walls. Or some people, I'm going to, relate this to the path of enlightenment, or the awakening. Some people try and go too fast, and it doesn't happen like that. And the funny thing about that is, when you understand that time is an illusion, then there is no point in hurrying to do anything. I often, this is what came to me when I started to feel guilty or feel bad about procrastinating, and then or being lazy. And then someone said, I can't remember who it was, that said, it might have been Minnow Pond. I don't know whether I've mentioned him before, but Minnow Pond Tarot, check him out. I think it was him that said, lazy is just resting with judgment. And when I thought about that, and you think, well, how can you procrastinate if time is an illusion? How can you be lazy if time is an illusion? So, you can only be lazy if you think you should be using your time to do something else. But if time is an illusion and everything's happening in the now moment, lazy really is resting, but you putting a judgment on it. That whole concept really, really kind of freed me up, especially with this, I want to raise my frequency, or I want to go up the chart of consciousness, or, I want to be more awake than others, or what have you. I mean, it's all madness, isn't it? Because there's still striving there. That's completely the opposite of not being happy in the now, not being content in the now. So yeah, releasing any concept of time, because slow and steady, he's loving the journey. Okay, he's got beautiful landscape. Um, he is going slowly, but he's going securely. He's going safely, because again, you hear about people having spiritual crashes, or like the kundalini, if it rises too quickly, it's not always good. I mean, it's like I remember saying this actually to someone on one of my yoga teacher trainings. Something about all these learning every day, they kind of learning something and having these lessons. Now I just like to take time out. It just seems to be all the time learning something. And this friend of mine said to me, just be grateful that you're learning in manageable chunks, because some people have near-death experiences. Some people, like Anita Morjani, Dying to Be Me, who wrote the book Dying to Be Me, had stage 5 cancer. And I think she died for about 9 minutes or something, and then came back. So any near-death experiences, and there's loads of evidence and reported, cases on YouTube. But of course, they involve trauma and shock and all sorts of things. But that's a quick way to enlightenment. That's a very quick way. But he's coming up to say, let's just go slow and steady and secure, smell the roses, enjoy the scene. That's what it's all about. There is no time, it's an illusion. It's about enjoying every moment. He's very resourceful. Okay. And there is a connection with pentacles and money. We know that. So a lot of people are in a hurry because they think they need to make more money. Or I can't take time off. I can't go on holiday for 2 weeks because it will cost too much, or I will lose pay for 2 weeks, or whatever it might be. There's always that kind of money angle in there as well when it comes to time. Time is money. People say time is money. But if they're both illusions, no, they're not. So yeah, there is a connection there as well. So he's not worried about all of that. He's not worried about all of that at all. And he is going in the right direction. He's protected by his level of consciousness and by the fact that he's just doing what he loves. He's doing what he knows. He's doing what he's good at. He's following his inspiration. He's following his abundance, because for me, pentacles are abundance and resourcefulness. So he's following that. Where are you resourceful? What are you good at? You know, what comes easily to you? What brings you joy? That's what he's following. That's the abundance. He's following that abundance of love and joy and harmony. And that's why his frequency is so high. Amazing. Standing your ground. Seven of Wands. Standing your ground with courage and conviction. And this, I think, is really, really important. We know the power of peer pressure. We know the power of the media. But it really does influence us. You know, when you have an opinion, you might not share it because you might think, oh, that's an unpopular opinion. I'll keep that to myself. I can relate to that. But then when you hear other people have that opinion, it's really easy then to say something. But isn't that allowing others? You know, I mean, it might be giving you confidence to express yourself, but is it not also a sign that that's peer pressure, but going the other way? It's like peer support. But we should, because he feels quite alone. We should have the courage and conviction of our own beliefs, but we don't. He's looking defensive. Now, the only way that we can feel defensive is if we feel under attack. Okay? And if we're under attack, like these people here with wands are naysayers. I like to call them naysayers. So he's got this belief and they're like naysaying the belief and he's defending himself. It doesn't have to be so physical, this card. It can just be energetic. But the truth is, we don't need to defend ourselves. We don't need to defend ourselves. We have courage and conviction in our beliefs. I can't remember who it was that said it, but you're not going to change anything or anyone with your opinion. You can only change someone or something or someone through your example. And so he needs to kind of stop defending, let the naysayers say what they want to say, and just live his life as, you know, as happily as he can and as joyfully as he can and as morally as he can. But there's another way of looking at this as well, of course, the mirror effect. Everything outside of you is a reflection of a part of you. Because these naysayers are, it's impossible to have a naysayer outside of you if there is not a part of you inside that is doubting you. So this card is also a self-doubt card, because then when we're doubting ourselves, that self-doubt is going to get reflected back to us in people outside of us doubting us. And that's basically what the naysayers are. They're doubting the situation. And they're also, you know, defending their own beliefs. Let's not forget that, looking at it from different levels. They're defending their beliefs, which we all do, right? We all defend our beliefs or believe our beliefs are right, but our beliefs are always right for us at that time in our evolution. Doesn't mean our beliefs are right for anybody else. That's a big lesson, isn't it? There we are. Not feeling a little bit rock bottom. So perhaps this is a little bit more than naysayers. This because this is action in the physical world, wands, but this swords is air and it's mental processes. So this guy has let the words, because these are words and thoughts and ideas and beliefs, that's what the swords are. He's let the beliefs of others get to him. Look, he's really let the beliefs of others get to him. So whether this is a theme for, well, it's coming up for April. So it looks like there's some kind of theme here that we're happy on our path, okay, but other people don't agree with us on a lot of things, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter. Okay, I think that's the main message. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put a link in the description to thoughts, understanding thoughts. My video in Lessons in Awakening. It's called Understanding Thoughts, Your Own and Those of Others. I'll put a link in the description in the video in the end screen, because these people don't agree with your thoughts, but you're letting it get you down. So in other words, the message for this month is don't let it get you down. Okay, because understanding that everyone's on their path, many roads to Rome, whatever the expression is, people don't have to agree with us. There's so much happening in the outside world. Why is that? Because there's so much happening on the inside world. Okay, and the journey is personal and unique for each and every one of us. Obviously there's some similarities. There's a lot of hidden information coming to light in all those areas that I talked about in the beginning. And it's throwing everybody into a little bit of turmoil. Obviously, it's throwing everyone into a bit of turmoil. And this guy cares too much what other people think. Okay, or there could be his own thoughts, of course, that are keeping him down. Like, I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I'm not supported. All of these things could be keeping him down as well. But it can also be thoughts of others, making him feel rock bottom. But I actually quite like this card because there is a dawn in the background. And not only that, but being rock bottom, it's like kind of just being laid bare. It's just like get rid of all thoughts. Okay. Oh, and I'll put a link in the description to that one as well, to the how to detach from your thoughts. Okay. Because I think that is clearly important for this guy, right? How to detach from all thoughts. Okay, good and bad. I mean, at the moment on the journey, we kind of want to think the positive thoughts to expand us. And I'm often talking about that. And some of the healing modalities I use do work on installing more positive beliefs so that we can have positive self-image and raise our frequency. Because obviously, loving thoughts are a higher frequency. But some of these wise sages, the thoughts, whether they're good or bad, it's a case of keeping neutral, in the middle and not getting, so that you can see something good happening and it doesn't affect you any more than seeing something negative happening. Okay, whereas to get there, we're working on the basis that looking at something negative or some adversity and being able to see the blessing in it. Okay, so then not getting overly excited, I guess, by something in the positive, but keeping that kind of neutrality. So releasing all beliefs, letting go of the attachment. You can have beliefs, of course, but letting go of the attachment to them. Okay, so he's rock bottom, which is a good place to start. Back at square one, starting from scratch. There are two phrases that I often say with this card, and they could be viewed as negative, but personally, I think that's a good place to be. Back at square one and starting from scratch. Because why not? It's like, let's start again and just, how do you want your energy to be? Who do you want to be? You are love and light. You're a divine being. Let's start there, shall we? That's from scratch, isn't it? It's like when I talked about the bucket of dirty water. And when you pour the clean water in and the dirty stuff comes up, I had a comment from somebody, a lovely comment, but she said that however much the pure water goes in, there's just still a few grains left in the bottom. And when I went to answer her, I thought to myself, I thought my human thought, oh, I'll probably say something like, oh, we need to learn to love those grains of dirtiness in the bottom. But it wasn't. When I went to answer her, this answer came out of me that just said, well, maybe it's time to tip the whole bucket upside down. And I think that's what's happening. I think that's what's happening. The whole bucket's getting tipped upside down. Empty ourselves of everything, all thoughts, all emotions, everything, all expectations, all desires. Just empty it of everything, starting from scratch. And then you can fill with whatever you choose. Okay, so you can just empty ourselves of the resistance, of the limiting beliefs, the self-doubt, the sadness, whatever it might be, or the resistance to the sadness, I should say. Because if you're looking at things as it's not right or wrong, there's no good or bad, then feeling sad is just feeling sad, isn't it? Without judgment. So we're not trying to stop feeling sad. We're trying to stop judging ourselves for feeling sad, judging ourselves for anything. Oh, I'm really good because I'm always happy. Or, I'm not good because I feel sad today. I mean, this is the bit that we need to release, is it not? The last card is the Justice card, although we have got a clarifier. Let me see the clarifier. Okay. The last card is the Justice card. This is a lovely one to end on because I think there's a justice going on. I really think there's a justice going on. And I think we're all being taught a moral lesson. Not giving your power away, not being persuaded by peers or the media or programming or any of that, and just tapping into who you really are. This is the you reap what you sow card. And it's so true. It's a karma card. So there is stuff happening. And you might be thinking, oh, what a bad things happen to good people. Well, we've all got inherited stuff as well. And we're living many, many lives that with the whole universe in one human being. And who says that it's bad anyway? We choose our own adversity for the purpose of waking ourselves up. And we also, as souls, agree to create adversity for each other. So some young souls, people often say, how can there be a God if there are sick children and stuff like that? But on a soul level, the souls have agreed, oh, look, I'll be your child, I'll be sick, I'll die young, and that will help you grieve. And then through the grieving process, you will see this, and this. And many people wake up through the grieving process. It's one of the many roads to Rome. And I think souls have agreed all of this. We have to look at this bigger picture. We have to look at the fact that we're multidimensional beings. We have to look at the fact that we are not just this human. I mean, if you think you are just this human, then life is going to be full of suffering for you. If you think that you're just this one life human being and that your identity is 100% around whoever you are in this lifetime, you're going to have some challenges, I think. I think we have to understand that we are multidimensional beings. And I think also this is a good, this justice is this, to me, it's like the coming together of spirituality and science. If you go this way with spirituality, you get to quantum truths. And then if you go this way with science, you come to quantum physics. It's the same thing. When you start looking at the world as a quantum universe with quantum laws, the laws of nature, the laws of the universe, this is the bit that I think is very, very important to understand. I'm just going to go through the clarifier quickly because he's actually my gratitude card. He is bored with what he's got, even though cups are love and emotion, spirituality, creativity, and intuition. He's wanting this that's coming in, but he's not aligning with it. So he's also a good symbol of the principle of vibration. He's not in the right vibration for what he wants coming in because he's too busy looking at what he hasn't got. He's not looking with gratitude at what he has got. So he's a lesson in having gratitude for everything you've got and the importance of raising your frequency, because when you raise your frequency, you align with more spiritually guided things, the things that you want in life or the things that you need in life or however it might be. So he's a really good reminder as well to come on the heels of the karma card as well. You reap what you sow. Now, let's have a little think about this one. There is only you, and everything outside of you is a reflection of a part of you. And we are the whole universe in one human being. And we've been taught not to be selfish, but actually the biggest service, the greatest service that we can give humanity is to focus completely on our own frequency. Because when we raise that frequency, we're raising the frequency of everything and everyone. So we're not only improving our own life, of course, we're improving the life of the collective. We have to be, because when we raise our frequency, everything in our reality is going to be at our frequency. So the more love we have inside, this is one of the Hermetic principles. This is the second of the Hermetic principles. Actually, maybe is this a good time to go through the Hermetic principles? Yeah, let's go through the Hermetic principles. It's going to make it quite a long video, but I think it's an important time, because so the seven Hermetic principles, and this is kind of inspired by these two cards, because it's the you reap what you sow, and the understanding that you have control over your vibration, and this correspondence, the principle of correspondence. Okay. The seven Hermetic principles. Hermetic comes from the word Hermes. It's Hermes Trismegistus. Whether he's a myth or not, I don't know. But these are the teachings. So how it's come to us, I don't know. But valuable teachings. And Trismegistics comes from the word three majesties. So it's coming from that the Trinity is coming from the three, the power of three. So there's something there. So the seven Hermetic principles, I'm summarizing them, of course. The first one is the principle of mentalism, which basically tells us that the universe works on a mental level. We know that what you think, you become. It's that. Okay, if you think it and believe it, you'll create it, because your thoughts are at a certain frequency. And if you are holding a thought at a certain frequency, that frequency is going to create that outside of you. So that brings us on to the second Hermetic principle, which is the principle of correspondence. As within, without, as above, below. Okay, and we've seen this, haven't we, with like sacred geometry and things like that. As within, without. What's inside of you is going to be created outside of you. And understanding that principle is really important. The third one is the principle of vibration. So that's kind of what I was talking about with him. You know, whatever your vibration is inside of you is going to be the vibration of your reality. So if you have a little tiny bit of anger, you're going to have a little bit of anger in your reality. If you have a lot of love in the cells of your body, you're going to have a lot of love in your reality. Okay, but because we're on a path and we're not fully enlightened, you know, we could have a lot of love in our reality, but there could still be some anger, some jealousy, some sadness, and what have you, because we have 50 trillion cells. Some people say 70 trillion, and I heard the other day 30 trillion. I don't know. I'm going to stick with 50 trillion. That was Bruce Lipton that said that. I'm not sure whether he counted them either, but anyway, you know what I mean. So in all those 50 trillion cells, we have stuff that is being reflected back to us, and it's coming up for acknowledgement. It's coming up to be processed, because we've had it either suppressed in our own lifetimes, or we've inherited it, or it's collective, or it's from another lifetime, or whatever. Okay, but it's in the cells of our body, because we are the whole universe in one human being. And this there's so many topics within one here, because if, for example, you're getting bothered by the greed that you see outside of you, or the manipulation and control that you're seeing outside of you, we need to look within and see, where am I being greedy? Where am I being manipulative? Where am I trying to be controlling? And it won't be on the same level. There are people outside trying to control the world. And we're just trying to control our emotions, maybe, or we're just trying to control the outcome of a situation, or, you know, it's going to be on a different level. But have a look. If you're triggered by what's going on in the outside world, if you're not triggered by it, then it's fine, because there's no resonance, you see? But if you're triggered by it, it's because there's a resonance with something within you. So this is what the inner work is all about. Where am I being greedy? Where am I being manipulative? Where am I trying to be controlling? And so that's all part of the principle of vibration. Is realizing that the vibration of those energies inside of us is creating it outside of us. And so if we want to change the outside, we have to change the inside. Okay. Now the fourth one is the principle of polarity. So this is an interesting one. So the principle of polarity is opposites, but they're on the same string. So let's take hot and cold, for example. Okay, hot and cold are both temperatures. They're the same thing. And there is no definitive point when cold becomes warm, becomes hot. It's different for everyone, right? And where does hot become warm, become cold? And there's loads of things like tepid and lukewarm and all sorts of things, boiling hot, freezing cold. There's all these things in the middle, but they're actually the same thing. Although there's hot and cold, they're opposites. They're actually the same thing. They're all degrees of temperature. Okay. And we can do the same with love and hate. Love and hate. They're opposites, but they are different degrees of how you feel or think about something. Okay, so the principle of polarity is that everything has an opposite, and you get to choose where on that string, where on the string are you plucking? Where on that string do you want to be? Okay, because there's also good and bad. You can put good and bad on there. But when does good become bad? And what's in the middle of good and bad? You know, and who says? Which bit are you plucking? You know, it might be good to be bad here, or it might be bad to be good. I mean, where it's all, you see, it's two ends of the same string. Okay, and judgment plays a big role, doesn't it? I might do a video on this in more detail because obviously there's a lot to be said about the 7 Hermetic principles. So we're on to number 5, which is the principle of rhythm. The principle of rhythm. So people often talk about the ebb and flowing of the waves of the sea, but it's also our breath, and it happens without effort, right? It's like coming in and going out, and in order to be balanced, they have to be equal. It's like the pendulum. What's it called? That keeps time. Music. I can't remember what it's called. But the pendulum swing this way has to be equal to the pendulum sway this way in order to stay in balance. Okay, so it's a rhythm. There is a rhythm to the universe and how the universe works, and keeping in that flow is really important, because if you don't keep in the flow, what are you doing? You're pushing against resistance. But for every movement forward, there has to be a counter one, which is why they say change is the only constant. I hope that makes sense. The next one is the principle of cause and effect. So the principle of cause and effect, he's very much the principle of cause and effect, understanding that every choice has a consequence. But not just every choice. It comes into physics as well, doesn't it? You know, there's a cause and there's an effect. You push an object in that direction and there's the effect. It moves at that speed or what have you. So every effect has a cause, cause and effect. The last one is the principle of gender. And I talk about that quite a lot with the divine masculine energies coming in from the sun and the divine feminine energies coming up from Mother Earth. Some people might say from the moon. The moon is feminine, the sun is masculine. It doesn't really matter. We are the whole universe in one human being. I like the thought that the universe or the sun is bringing the divine masculine, and Mother Earth has a very feminine energy to her. And we're bringing that energy up. We're like our energy is like the toro, it's like the donut shape, and so it's coming up and down like this and meeting at the heart. Our heart is the center of everything. Our heart is the center of that donut shape. And our heart is where the divine masculine and divine feminine meet, and then everything in the universe, not just this, forget about humans for now, or even mammals, but everything, all of creation is created from that unity of divine masculine and divine feminine. We're not just talking about humans here, we're talking about creation, we're talking about divine creation. So there is this masculine and feminine energy within everything and everyone. And we want to keep that balance. And this has got nothing to do with whether you're male or female. And it's got nothing to do with what genders you're attracted to. This is universal laws that everything has these energies of masculine and feminine. It's the yin and the yang, isn't it? And it's keeping the balance between the two. So that's it. There's your 7 Hermetic principles. And I nearly went off on one about how to balance. But that's going to have to be another video. Otherwise, this is going to go on forever. So yeah, interesting. Interesting that the 7 Hermetic principles have come up for April. So I'll put a link in the description to some teachings on it, so that you can dive into that deeper if you're inspired to do so, because understanding, it just makes perfect sense to me. Here we go. If you're feeling like this, okay, so you're happy on your path, you think everything's going fantastic. I mean, it is, but then we've got some courage and conviction needed. There's lots of differences of opinion. We're feeling defensive for some reason, so we're feeling under attack. Okay, let's just release all the thoughts. Let's strip it back. Let's strip right back and use ourselves like a blank canvas to start again. Releasing everything that isn't serving us. That's what it's about. Releasing everything that isn't serving us, tipping that bucket of dirty water upside down. It's turmoil. It is turmoil, but when you understand what you're doing it for the highest good of all. And he is saying you reap what you sow. So cleansing yourself of this, anything that is not serving you, the greed, the manipulation, the control, the trapped emotions, the limiting beliefs, the caring what other people think, all of it. If it's not serving you, we're releasing it. And that can be a turbulent and emotional journey, of course, this inner work. There's a lot of childhood trauma, a lot of trauma work, stuff like that going on. But understanding what's going to help you with all of that is understanding how the universe is created, which is what these 2 cards are reminding us. You reap what you sow, the karma card, and also opening up and allowing what you want to come in is a frequency thing. It's raising your frequency to that which you desire. So, as I've said before, everything already exists. But you only get to experience that which you resonate with. So if you're not happy with what you're experiencing, raise your frequency by doing what you love, by loving what you do, by being grateful for everything that you have, and for opening your heart to this greater power, to this understanding as well of how the universe works. And the 7 Hermetic principles will certainly help you with that. So that's April 2023. It felt really different. It felt like an unusual reading for me. It was a little bit like that. But then, hey ho, that's a little bit what life is like at the moment, isn't it? If you'd like a private session, please get in touch. Link is in the description. I love you all. Have a fantastic month. See you in the next video. Bye for now.